Why are lead generation agencies extremely important in the B2B marketplace? Why would someone hire it? What is the actual value you deliver? And why are you able to charge high prices from the work that you do? A really important video to understand if you are in the B2B marketing space, especially if you're running a B2B lead generation agency, then this pretty much is a necessity. The first thing that we are gonna see here is we have lead generation agencies. This is you as a business. And it is super important for you to understand that when you are talking about your business, it's not just you who are the business. Your business is a separate entity from you. It has its own value proposition, it has its own team, it has its own process, and it's not tied to you in a way that you might think it is. What is the use case of a lead generation agency? A B2B lead generation agency, of course, works with B2B companies. So let's draw a B2B company here. So they sell a service or a product, anything pretty much, to different businesses. B2C is business to consumer. So if you are a consumer, let's say you go to McDonald's and you buy a cheeseburger, that is pretty much a B2C transaction. There's a business is selling you a consumer product that you consume. And then let's say you are a lead generation agency and you buy a service for your agency. So let's say you go and you buy consulting for your agency. So there is a business consultant consulting your business. That is a B2B transaction. Usually B2B services and different products are more on the expensive side. Let's say that this company is a cybersecurity company and they sell cybersecurity consulting. It usually costs at least multiple hundreds of dollars. In most cases, thousands, 10,000s, hundreds of thousands. In some cases, even millions. Let's say Apple goes there and hires a new cybersecurity consulting company to build their whole new cybersecurity infrastructure. That is probably going to cost at least multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions. The thing with these B2B services is that you can't really sell these through an e-commerce store. Like for example, if Nike wants to sell you shoes, like a B2C transaction, they can just put the shoe on an e-commerce store and advertise it to you on Facebook, and you see it and it's like $70, and then you go and you put your card information and you don't really need to decide too much on it. There's not a huge risk involved. When selling a high ticket B2B service or a product, that's not the case. You can't just send someone to checkout page and have them check out for $300,000. Most people can't do it. So what these companies need to do, they need to sell their deals to their prospects via sales calls. So here we have a few prospects. Let's say this is the first prospect group, and then we have a different color prospect group here. This isn't just 3 prospects, this just means that there's multiple. And then let's say that there's another one group, and these are green prospects. And these colors mean nothing else, that they are just different groups. All of these together are prospects, and pretty much prospects means prospective buyers. In the future might be buyers for the service, depending on their company, etc., their needs, desires, wants, failures, and fears. What this cybersecurity company needs to do to sell their service, let's say they are selling $5,000 a month service. What they need to do in order to sell this 5K a month service is they need to go to the market, and in some way they need to get sales meetings with these different prospects. They need to have a meeting with a prospect, and in this meeting they need to figure out if the prospect even needs the service. Like, are they even gonna be qualified to work with them? Do they have all the things that they do or need? Are they even able to help them? Are they able to even provide them a result? Are they able to solve their problem? And then when they have figured that out, they need to, of course, close them on the idea and sell them on the idea that they should specifically work with this cybersecurity company and why they are the best, etc. So they need these sales meetings in order to make money, because otherwise they won't be able to sell their product. Let's say that they are selling the $5,000 a month service. Let's say that from 10 calls on average, the cybersecurity company closes 20% of them as clients. 10 meetings means 2 clients. I often use the 20% closing rate as an exemplary number because it is a fairly average in the B2B sector. If this cybersecurity company gets 10 meetings, they get 2 customers on average. Sometimes they have to do 20 meetings to get 2 customers, and sometimes they only do 5 meetings to get 2 customers. But the average, if you stretch it out, it's always 2 clients per 10 meetings booked. And then on average, the customer stays with them for 10 months. Like, they start the consulting projects, and on average the consulting projects take 10 months, and the customers that they have find value from their service for 10 months. That would mean that every single customer on average, they are pretty much $50,000 in revenue for them, because they know that on average they're gonna stay for 10 months. If they get 2 customers equals $100,000 in revenue. And just to recap, to ensure that you're still up to speed, 10 meetings, 20% closing conversion rate equals 2 customers. 50K lifetime value means that those 2 customers are worth $100,000. This means that 10 sales meetings are worth $100,000 on average, which equals 1 meeting is worth $10,000. Remember that I'm just like coming up with exemplary numbers, but these are numbers that we actually see from the market. We work with over 200 lead generation agencies, and we are consistently seeing new B2B prospects, new B2B deals. We are helping everyone with fulfillment. We really see all the pricing details from the market every single day. And of course, we don't see everything, but we see pretty good averages. So this is a really, really realistic case that 1 meeting would be worth $10,000 for the prospect. And the funniest thing is that this cybersecurity might not even know how much 1 meeting is worth for them, because like a lot of B2B companies, they really suck at sales and marketing, and they don't really know their numbers. This company might be a $30 million company, but they just don't know their numbers in more traditional service-based businesses. No matter if they close this deal or not on this meeting, on average, by just booking that meeting, they are going to make $10,000, because the averages are always going to stable themselves out. Now we know that 1 meeting equals $10,000 for the cybersecurity company, and in order for the cybersecurity company to make money, they need these meetings. And the big thing here that a lot of B2B companies suck at getting these meetings and getting new leads. There's a study made by HubSpot, a huge company in B2B marketing and sales. 62% of B2B companies struggle with lead generation and getting new meetings. If you're a cybersecurity company, you need to do so many things. Deliver the service, you need to innovate, you need to stay up to trends, you need to talk to your customers, you need to do account management, you need to do follow-up, you need to do sales calls, you need to do prospecting, you need to do outreach, you need to do industry events, you need to do ads, you need to do content, blog posts, accounting, finances, operations, HR, hiring, training, firing. Pretty much like you're doing a million things as a company. And if you really look at the B2B sales process, there are multiple stages. First, you need to do prospecting. So you need to pretty much find what companies you should even reach out to. You need to find their contact information. You need to find the right decision maker. You need to just prospect. Then when you have done prospecting, you need to do outreach or whatever form of lead generation it might be. Some people might go to industry events. Some people might use ads. Some people might use content, but you need to do some sort of activity to gain their attention. And in most cases, the best way to do it is outreach. Then when you have done outreach, you need to nurture them. You need to follow up. You need to do inbox management. You need to book in the meeting. Then you need to have a discovery call. Then you need to have a demo call. Then you are sending a proposal. Then you are doing a follow-up call. Then you are signing the contract. Then you are starting the onboarding process. And this is pretty much the B2B sales process. And if you look at here, this was prospecting. Then this is outreach. And this is nurturing and follow-up. And this is like booking the call. And then this is discovery. Most experts in the industry, like let's say you are really, really expert in cybersecurity and you know what you're doing, this part is gonna be fairly easy because you're just really talking what they need, what kind of problems they have, you're identifying problems, then you are like really presenting your solution, why your solution is the best, you're making a proposal. Like this is nothing groundbreaking. This is not extremely hard if you know what you're doing and if you truly trust that your service and product are good. Even if you are an expert in cybersecurity, it doesn't really make you a good prospector, or it doesn't make you be good at outreach, or it doesn't make you good at nurturing and following up and booking calls. It takes a lot of time. It is hard if you don't know how to do it. And since they're focusing on so many other things, they don't really have time to put into this process. It has been studied over and over again, and you can check this on Google. The hardest part of the B2B sales process has always been this part. A lot of people don't like to sell. They don't like to offer their service. Even though they know that their service is good and valuable, they don't like to do it. It is also really uncomfortable and hard for a lot of people. So they are not really good at this stage, and they don't really know how to do it efficiently, and they don't really have a systemized process for this. But if you remember, 1 call, 1 meeting booked through this process is worth $10,000. So there's a lot of money to be made if they would just be doing it. But they don't have the time, they don't have the attention, they don't have the focus, they don't have the skills to do it. Pretty much, this is where a lead generation agency comes in. And this is where a lead generation agency can really, really help these companies a lot. And this is pretty much your whole point. So what a lead generation agency does, it takes this whole process of booking meetings and doing prospecting and outreach, and it handles it for these companies. So they partner up and they form a partnership. And what this lead generation agency starts doing, it first of all, it starts just looking at the cybersecurity company, looking at what they do, who they work with, looking at their case studies. And the first thing that they need to do is they need to identify different prospect groups is the most potential one. You won't be right with all the time on the first go. You might need some experience in the niche, etc., etc., etc. But the first thing is to identify what group of prospect market is the most potential one. So let's say that these are IT companies, and let's say that these are fintech companies, and let's say that these are marketing agencies. Let's say that you figure out that, okay, fintech industry clearly has the most demand for cybersecurity companies because they have the biggest risk and they have most to lose. If you're running a financial technology company, you really need to have your cyber shit on lock. Let's say that you maybe figure out that, okay, Series A and Series B startups that have just raised around, they need to get their cybersecurity stuff in check because otherwise they are not able to get customers on board and they have a huge risk of someone hacking into their system. So you identify the most potential company. You figure out the niche that you want to do outreach for. Then you look at their offer. You look at like, okay, what are these customers really getting for this price and what problems is it solving? What end results are they getting? What can they get rid of? What can they start doing? What is pretty much the end result of working with this company? And usually there's multiple ones, so you might have different variations that you want to test. But you figure out their offer. Then you take these two things and you create cold email campaigns from it, scripts or outreach scripts or whatever. So you create cold emails based on this knowledge. You're presenting the offer to the specific niche in your cold emails. When you actually figure out the right niche and figure out the right offer, the cold email script is just going to be putting pieces together. It's not going to really be hard. Like, you don't really need to be a massive copywriter. It's just like, hi John, we help this niche get this end result with this case study or with this guarantee. That's not going to be the big lever mover if you figure out the niche and the offer right. And also in a lot of cases, these B2B companies, because they are not really sales oriented and marketing oriented, they probably don't even know what their ideal customer profile is, what niche they should reach out, how should they position their offer. So if you just get that right, you're already able to make them a lot of money. You launch the cold email campaigns for the cybersecurity company in the cybersecurity company's name. So you're pretty much sending emails for them. You're doing outreach for them. Let's say the cybersecurity company, it is called Cyber X, and their sales guys or owners or founders or whoever, like let's say owner's name is John. You're just pretty much acting as them in your emails. Hi, Mark. My name is John and I am the owner of Cyber X, and we help financial technology startups who have just raised their Series B funding round to whatever the offer is might be. Ensure that you don't get hacked and lose your business. Do you want me to send more information? That is pretty much how it works. And then you start getting positive replies and you book them in for calls, etc. Let's say that this partnership goes on for 12 months. This lead generation agency works with this cybersecurity company for 12 months. And fairly average, you book 5 to 10 calls for a company. If you work with them for 12 months, you have so much time to figure out what is the best niche and offer. It is not hard to book 10 calls at a month. So let's say that during these 12 months, your first few months are a bit slower. It doesn't really work out. Let's say that during these 12 months, you book them 80 meetings. And based on the numbers we just calculated, we know that 80 meetings are $800,000 in revenue. On average, the cybersecurity company closes 20% of their meetings and one client is worth 50K. So this would mean one meeting is worth 10K and 10 meetings is worth 100K. And of course it means 80 meetings is worth 800K. Pretty much through this process, you are generating $800,000 in revenue for the cybersecurity company in 12 months without them doing anything else than going to the sales meeting. They are pretty much able to get rid of this whole process, which is really uncomfortable and hard for them. They never have to do that, so you're saving them a lot of time, you're making them a lot of money, you're getting them probably better quality customers, and you're also helping them figure out what is their best niche and how they should position their offers. To make them $800,000, and now of course you're wondering like, okay, how much am I getting paid for this stuff? There's no right or wrong answer for this, but for example, basic lead generation agency payment model that we use is you charge an upfront fee to ensure that they're committed. Let's say that you charge upfront, so when you start working with them, yeah, it's gonna be 5K. And after that, you charge them a price per call. So for every single call that you book them, they are going to pay you XYZ dollars. And for example, here we see that, okay, if one meeting is worth $10,000 for them, we can pretty easily charge $500 to $1,000 per call. Because if one meeting is 10K on average, and you charge them 1K per call, that means that they are 10xing their money. So let's say that we are charging them $750 per call. And this is the payment structure that you agree on with them. So this would of course mean that during these 12 months, as you're working with them, you are gonna be making $65,000 just for sending some emails. You're making 65K, and if you average it out per month, that would mean that you are making 5.4K per month sending some emails. And of course, in the beginning stages, when you're figuring all of this shit out and you're testing and you're trying to like make sure like how can I book the most amount of meetings and what is the most profitable niche for me to go in for this company, then you're gonna be doing multiple hours of work every single day for them. But then after 6 months, when you have already figured everything out and you already have everything rolling, there's not really that much to do. You can have a VA that is scraping you the leads. You can have a VA doing you the inbox management. That's like both of those combined is like 1K a month max. So you You don't really need to reply to emails, you don't need to scrape leads, and you are just making sure that the campaigns run and that there's no problems, and you're just talking with the cybersecurity company, making sure that they're happy and making sure that they're actually closing deals. You work together for 12 months. This cybersecurity company makes $800,000 and they pay you $65,000, so they make good money, you make good money, you save them a lot of time, and your work isn't asked either. And the person who generates most amount of value to the marketplace always wins. Yesterday I got a really good question. Someone told me, yo, like I'm thinking about getting into lead gen, and I'm just thinking like, is this an industry that is gonna be around for a long time? One of the coolest things with doing lead generation, in my opinion, it is not tied to any specific platform or trick or hack or trend. It is literally tied to the fact that you're able to identify a market and position a service or offer in a way that it's interesting for the market, and then communicate that offer to the market using any platform. You can do it with email, you can do it with cold calls, you can do it with physical mail, with carrier pigeons, with Facebook, with IG, with LinkedIn. There's like, as long as people are selling services and communicating to each other, there's going to be room and need and demand for lead generation agencies. If you learn the skill of identifying the right industry that you should target and positioning someone's service or product in a way that they understand it and they see that it's valuable, and then you just book in a meeting with them. As long as that's happening and as long as you can do that, you will never go broke when you're doing lead generation. This is like making 65K in a year, like that's dope, but that is just the smallest level of things. We have guys who are making 65K every single month by working with 1 or 2 clients because they're just selling big deals. So imagine that you start selling for a huge company that only works with Fortune 500 companies and like governments, etc., and their deal sizes are $10 million. Let's say that you're able to do a lead gen for this offer, and there are huge companies that they have a lot of credibility, and you're reaching out to like Fortune 500 and you have 2.5% rev share there. This would mean that if you're able to get 1 client for this company, you would make $250,000. And you don't even have to go to the meeting and close. You just need to get them the meeting. Or let's say that you're helping startups raise funding rounds, and let's say that you help someone raise $1 million in funding and you have 10% rev share. That would mean that you make $100,000. You can make that from 1 deal. That's something that I also used to do before I was running a full-time B2B lead gen agency. I used to work with startups and they would have a funding round, and once again they were a tech company, they wanted to do tech, they wanted to build products, but they needed money, so they needed like let's say a $1 million funding round, and they didn't know how to sell, how to do outreach, how to prospect. So what I was doing, I was finding these private equity investors and angel investors, and I was calling them on the phone. I was like, yo bro, like I have this startup and we are raising money and this is why you should invest to us. Do you want to book in a quick meeting and we'll show you the demo pitch, etc. I've made like 8K in a week by just like doing basic cold calling. I had 1 call, I had 10% rev share, and called them. They had already listened to the pitch 2 years ago. So I called them, I was like, yo John, I know you talked with this company 2 years ago and you listened to the pitch and nothing came out of it because of C19 hit back then. Would you be interested in seeing now what the company looks like? We have some great stuff. And it took like 25 seconds. And they were like, yeah, sure, send me an invite on email for Monday 2 p.m. and I can listen to it. And I'm like, okay, boom, 25 seconds on the phone. I shut the phone off. I sent the invite. And then the founder of the startup goes to the meeting and they get a 50K investment, and I made 5K from a 25-second phone call. You can do this for the rest of your life, but you just need to move into bigger deals and bigger companies and bigger opportunities and better payment structures if it's something that you really, really want to get rich of. But most people just see this as a trend or a quick thing, and like, I'll just do this to get some cash flow, and then I make a course, or then I fucking start a SaaS, or then I do something else, or I do dropshipping. People don't understand the potential of this industry when done right. When you figure out how to identify a market and position the thing that you want to sell them or get them to do in a valuable thing for them, and you learn how to communicate with them with cold email or whatever platform, you are going to make as much money as you want as long as you do the work. Also, if you're right now listening to this and you're like, this is fairly interesting, I think like I could do lead gen, I want to build a lead generation agency, and I want to start making money in this market because there's clearly a lot of money. What you can do is you can go to agencyvelocity.io. We pretty much run a consulting company where we help people scale from $0 to $10,000 a month in 3 months with lead generation agencies. And of course, after that, only the sky is the limit. Like I said, we have guys making 30, 40, 50, 60,000, $100,000 a month using our protocol. We have been doing this for a year now. We have worked with over 200 lead generation agencies. We're getting crazy results. So if that's something that you want to see, and if you want to work with me and my team to really scale you up, go to agencyvelocity.io and apply and see if it's a a fit, and maybe I'll see you inside there. If you found it valuable, drop me a like on the video. If you have seen a few of my videos already and are like, this guy seems to be a-okay, drop me a subscribe. And the one thing that I would like to see and hear from you is comment on what you think about the setup, what you think about the content. Is there anything else that you'd like me to talk about here on the YouTube channel? That really helps me out the most.